Hello guys, Ivan Kivius here and welcome to Shark Numbers. In this video, I will speak with a co-founder and the CEO of Pundi X, Zac Cheah. For the last 5 years, Zac and his team were building and improving Pundi X, a business aiming to commercialize the use of cryptocurrencies. Over the long run, 90% of all businesses fail. Only 1 out of 10 businesses in the startup category ultimately survive. Pundi X has been around for 5 years, which is a long time for a startup. How much longer will this business be around? And what about the Pundi X token? Is it still alive? I ask Zac these and other questions related to the topic. Please enjoy my conversation with the co-founder and the CEO of Pundi X, Zac Cheah. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Without further ado, let's get rolling. Let me guess, you're in Singapore.
Yes, I am. I'm in Singapore.
All right, awesome. I want us to have a fun conversation today. People who are watching us represent the crypto community. My subscribers are mainly crypto holders, early adopters of distributed ledgers, and people who are interested in discovering new financial and investing opportunities. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about Pundi X Labs.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Ivan, and I'm very happy to be on Sharp Numbers.
Awesome, thanks. Based on my understanding, your main product is the POS system and the platform that works as a backbone of the POS system. So it's like PayPal or Square, but with crypto. Am I correct?
That's a good way to put it, and that's correct.
What is your standard processing fee? The Square charges 2.6%. Like PayPal charges around the same. So how does your POS system work?
Sure. So I think before I tell you the numbers, Ivan, I think I want to share with you why we did that. When we started in 2016, there were a lot of different projects going on, but we felt that there was none that actually catered to the adoption, in the sense that allowing people to actually spend, use, and purchase crypto. So in that sense, we went out to try to build the XPOS. And right now in the market, we actually allow our distributor to have a different charging fee. So distributor, based on their demand, on their location, on the currency that they do, they actually have different fees that they can set. So the fees is actually from 0% to 10%. So 0% meaning that the distributor doesn't take any fees, and 10% is on the high side. But if you were to compare it with crypto ATM, say in the States, whereby the fees goes up to about 15%, sometimes even higher. So I think a 0 to 10% is what we are looking at, and also depends on the volume that we are going for, right? I mean, if a person is buying $5, it will be different from a person that's buying $5,000. Yeah.
Let's talk about gas fees. Can you tell me a little bit more about gas fees? What networks do you currently support, and how does it work?
When we started, Ivan, it was actually a custodial model. So for a custodial model, there isn't a gas fee involved. But as the years go by, we actually also developed a non-custodial model, which means that the transaction is actually on-chain. So for gas fees, it's really depend on which blockchain that the person is buying from, right? So if it's Ethereum, if it's Binance Smart Chain, if it's a Bitcoin on layer 1. So in that sense, we actually cater for a different variety of layer 1 and also a different variety of demand. Yeah.
And so which networks do you currently support?
Right now, we support Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Bitcoin, our custodial version, and we are also working on Polygon, Avalanche, and the rest. So it's a variety.
This is how I imagine your daily sales activities. Correct me if I'm wrong. You go to retail sellers, people who sell cosmetics, food, clothes, fishing equipment, and so on, and you offer those folks to begin using your POS system that accepts cryptocurrencies as payment.
That's correct.
Who represents the majority of your clients? I'm curious as to where the adoption of your product began.
Good question. So For our user, I think we can broadly separate them into two categories. One is actually people that want to spend crypto, right? I have Bitcoin and I want to buy a cup of coffee, or I want to buy a luxury goods. So people that want to spend crypto. So this is one. Another category is for people that want to acquire crypto. So there are markets that are very interested in this. So they actually sell their local fiat or US dollar to acquire crypto. So this is the second category. So these are like the two broad categories that we focus on. And the second category consists of a lot of Forex exchange. So foreign currency exchange that actually also support the selling and buying of crypto.
Do you have any funny stories related to the adoption of Pundi X? Maybe you went to a seafood marketplace to promote your innovative product, your POS system, and people gave you weird looks. I'm asking because your product is innovative and still in its early adoption stage.
When we first started, Ivan, we actually thought that the growth area would be places where that are more advanced economy, right? And slowly we realized that even though there is demand there, the demand that we find very interesting are certain markets that want to actually sell their local fiat currency with sometimes with a lot of volatility to crypto. So we find that it's very meaningful and interesting to actually cater for a group of clientele, which for them is actually their first or their few times getting into crypto. So we are really talking about, the regular salaried person that gets his or her salary and goes to a physical shop. So a physical Pundi X shop and say, hey, so this month I have so much of my salary and I want to convert 20% of them into crypto. So this is actually a very interesting market. So we work a lot with Forex exchange, a grocery store, mom and pops. So that's very interesting. And throughout our journey, we have spoken to many people and it is really an eye-opener. Yeah.
How many physical locations do you currently have? I saw a couple of videos. I saw you have one in Turkey.
So we have given out and distributed and sold a few thousand XPOS. So there are a few thousand XPOS active globally. And for physical Pundi X exchange store, which means that a physical outlet that is named after our own brand, there are about 17. So most of them are in Turkey, whereby there are Forex exchange stores that are actually called Pundi X exchange. So those people go there and buy crypto.
I read your white paper and I know that your initial goal was to focus on Southeast Asia. How are things going right now? Is Asia still your primary focus, your top priority? I saw some spikes in your website traffic. There are visitors from France. Do you run campaigns in France or is it just inaccurate data?
So we actually started in Southeast Asia. So our focus was initially in Southeast Asia, specifically Indonesia. But we then realized that the demand is actually pretty global. So as you mentioned, there's quite a bit of like visitors from France, and also there's some stores in Turkey. So we realized that the demand is actually pretty global. And instead of like trying to like pinpoint a geography, I would rather pinpoint markets that actually have a volatile local fiat currency. So their national currency is very volatile, and a lot of like regular people in the streets actually want to get hold of crypto. So I think those markets are actually our key growth market.
Let's talk numbers. You collected around $35 million during your ICO stage.
Yeah, I think 35 or slightly upwards, depending on the time you count the crypto, right? Yeah, so I think 35 is a safe number. Okay. Some will count it even slightly higher.
What is your current burn rate? Did you reach break-even yet? If you still need more funds to continue business operations, do you have enough resources to continue business activities? what is your progress and what are your expectations based on the data you're seeing now? Tell us what you can tell.
Right, sure. So we are achieving stable revenue flow, which means that our growth is actually growing. Of course, for profit-wise, it depends on the market and the different months that we are in. What I can share with you is that this is actually our 5th year in operation. So we have been growing into different markets. The team has been growing as well. So I think we are in a market of, in crypto's definition, a steady growth, right? Because when you talk about crypto teams, you will really high growth, then the next thing is like going down or things like that. So I think for crypto companies, we represent a very stable growth market, both in terms of like public engagement and also our business growth, and also very stable in terms of like licensing application. So I would give a short summary that we are doing progressive good revenue and expanding into different markets. And also in the bear market, till now, our numbers have been growing. Yeah.
Let's talk about the token. Is the Pundi X token still alive? What is the future of the Pundi X token? Maybe there are some new utility purposes or something else. I was hoping you could say something to those who purchased your token early on when the token price was much higher. You don't need to speculate on the future price, but you can send a general statement. Also, people who never purchased the Pundi X token in the past are now thinking if it's a good idea to fill their bags with your native token. Do you have anything to tell those people?
Sure. So the Pundi X token is actually a deflationary token model, which means that every quarter when we release our performance results, we actually burn a part of the Pundi X token supply. So this is one. The second one is that as we venture into more decentralization project, we also launch Pundi X chain, whereby the transaction on the chain itself actually uses Pundi X as the gas fee. So we are actually expanding our use case for the token, and it's been a good 5 years that we are trying to innovate, and as we get into more markets, I believe the growth will also continue to progress. Yeah.
Before we end this conversation, I want to ask you several fun questions. Try to answer them fast in 1-2 words, maximum 1 sentence. First question, a hypothetical scenario. You have to spend 1 month on a deserted island without any equipment, and you have to survive. Only you are on the island, and you're allowed to bring 1 more person with you. Who is this person going to be? There are only 3 options. Option 1, Vitalik Buterin. Option 2, CZ. Option 3, Michael Saylor.
I would say CZ, yeah.
Okay, next question. Imagine you have a meeting with Satoshi Nakamoto. It is a real person, and that person chose you to have a one-on-one conversation. You're the first person to meet the real Satoshi Nakamoto. You enter Satoshi's office room and realize that she's a woman. What would be your first reaction? What would you say the moment you see the actual creator of Bitcoin?
Well, I think there's a 50% chance that that person is a woman, if that's an individual. In fact, the first known developer is actually also a woman. So what do I want to ask her? I guess I want to ask her if she knew how the progress would have become. Would she actually implemented something different, something programmable into Bitcoin? Yeah.
Next question. If society changed and became 100% money-free, it would be an entirely socialist-driven society where businesses do not run financial transactions. Everything is free, but you have to pick a profession and do something. What would you choose to do? What role would you play? And what occupation do you think you would have in this made-up society?
I would do something regard to botanics, which means like plants, flowers, or I would do something to do with like aquarium. So like, I don't know, fish or
aquaponics.
Very unrelated, yeah.
Okay, last question. Pundi X to the moon
obviously.
All right. Thank you so much, Zac. I appreciate your time. If you make it to Florida, I'll be happy to meet with you in person. We can have another interview in my studio sometime in the future. Have a great rest of the day and keep it up.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ivan. I will go there and check out the flamingo in the room behind you.
This was Zac Cheah, a proactive entrepreneur, the leader of Pundi X, and just a nice guy. I had a pleasure of speaking with this founder, and I hope that you have learned something new. Now, before I go, I want to remind you that investing can be risky. Always run your own research before you decide to invest money in cryptocurrencies. Never bite more than you can chew. Always be pragmatic. Evaluate risks. I'm done for now. If you enjoyed this video, then hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you're not yet subscribed. I'll talk to you soon. Ivan KV out.